Hello and welcome to the France 24 interview. Our guest today is Benjamin Loyseau, a photographer who spent 4 weeks in southern Sudan. South Sudan is about to become the world's newest nation. On July the 9th, thank you very much for being on the show. We're going to see some of the pictures you took. They were published alongside an article by writer Jonathan Little in the weekend magazine of Le Monde. It's called A State Without a Nation, Southern Sudan. And we're going to begin with one picture on the day of the referendum, January 9th. And you see all this crowd of people.
Yeah, it was on the opening day, on the 9th of January, and people were really willing to vote on the first day, on the opening day, even though they could vote for the whole week. But they were really willing to vote that day. It was really important for them. So they were all wearing the best clothes and they
like going to church.
Exactly. They could wait for hours and hours in the sun. It didn't matter. There was so much hope that day. They were finally having their own destiny in their hands. So it was really important for them to vote on the 9th. So that you can see on that picture that they all wearing the best outfits. But this woman is keeping the queue because she's pretending to have. I mean, she actually has a baby and a voting card. So she passes in front of everybody. I think everybody could have done that because they all have at least one child. Right. Anyway.
Right. And so there was a lot of turnout on that day, and nearly everyone voted for independence, including the second picture, this elderly man. Can you tell us about this?
This man is showing me his hand because on the vote, on bulletin vote, you had two signs, whether you would say yes for independence or no. On the yes, it was an open hand like this. So I was taking pictures, and this man just showed up to me and stood in front of me very politely and just showed me his hand in sign of independence. So we didn't even talk. I just...
Just his pride.
Yeah,
he was
just
proud.
His proud, and we just looked at each other because we couldn't hardly talk anyway. I didn't have any translator at the time, so it was just a really proud moment. He just wanted to show me his hand for independence.
Right. And the vote went rather smoothly, despite fears that it would go astray.
It went really well. Nothing special came up. 99% almost of people voted for independence. And the whole week there was a lot of hopes and very good energy and smiles and enthusiasm. It was a beautiful moment. From the smallest village to Juba or anywhere all over the country, because we went to many different places the whole week. It was pretty well organized, I must say.
Okay. The third picture is about an issue that's come up. It's refugees coming back to the south from the north. According to the United Nations, around 360,000 have left the north of Sudan to come back since October. And we see a beautiful shot, actually, of a truck and people alongside. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, they were actually returnees that had left South Sudan to go and work and spend their life in the north. But because of the really difficulties they had there, most of them came back to vote for the referendum. And also they came back because they had a lot of hope in what was going to happen, also a lot of fear if they would stay in the north and that independence would be declared. So they left with all the means of transport possible, by boat, on the Nile, on trips that would take them for weeks, or by anything possible. So on the trucks was loaded with anything they had, chairs,
loaded
whatever.
Is the word, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it was really loaded. There was loads of them. It was hard also to photograph them because some of them had lost everything. They had left and in a hurry, and it was a new adventure. Some of them had never been to South Sudan, so it was a new country for them. So they were a bit scared also, and they had to stay in this place on a football field and sleep on the floor under the truck. So it was not that easy to photograph.
Right. We see the following picture with a small kid alongside. I don't know if it's his sister or his mother.
Yeah, it's the sister and a little
and
brother.
with also another truck.
Another truck also
behind.
All their stuff.
Right. I mean, were they welcomed in the south because they had, as you said, lived in the north, and were they concerned?
Yeah, I think most of them. They were really proud of what they managed to organize the referendum. They were going to be independent. And there was I was surprised. I thought there would be more demonstration against the North, but it was rather they were proud of themselves and not not very. They were not trying to get any revenge from the North. They were just, happy to get rid of the North and to end up 30 years of war.
But the authorities from what is going to be southern Sudan, I mean, is there a concern about how they can cope with all those people coming back?
They were supposed to have more organization and more money was given to that, but actually on the field, they were on their own. Nothing was actually really well organized, I must say. So
for them? Right?
No. It was really difficult.
Okay. We're going to go to the next picture, which is striking pictures and which illustrates some of the dangers. It's not only the tensions between the North, but it's tensions, sometimes very local tensions.
Yeah,
so tell us about it.
A lot of tension in between the South. This is like a stick in the middle of nowhere, out of the desert. You had to drive for hours just to get there, and it's the symbol of the border between the Malay and the Dinkas. So, out of nowhere you have this two ethnical groups, and they fight a lot for us, very simple reason, for cows, for lands, for this kind of thing. But there's a lot of guns, a lot of weapons everywhere, so it's really dangerous.
And there are concerns actually that northern Sudan, which is not too happy to see the South secede, is arming militias, using them all alongside the future borderline.
It's hard to prove, but definitely. The North is quite happy, I think, to split people in the...
Right, to divide
a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're going to go to the next picture, which is an impressive one. It's one of a local SPLA, which is the ruling army, if I may say. So there are the authorities. You see lots of guns when you travel there.
Yeah, almost everywhere. And so this one is the chief in Bor. And so we came to see him for an interview and to get the permission to travel there and take pictures. And the funny thing is always striking is that they're like tough guys with big guns, but then when they receive you in their office, you enter a room with pink flowers and a pink table and everything. I think this contrast.
So you like the contrast between...
Yeah, I think it's always interesting.
Right. The next picture is about some of the SPLA soldier. Is there a sense that the military is going to play a big role in South Sudan? Obviously, there were years of war with the North, but is there maybe a concern that maybe they want a lot of power?
I think so. The army still has a lot of power, and before it really turns out to civilian power, I think it will take a lot of time, and especially because they cannot guarantee peace everywhere in the country for the moment in the South Sudan. So army is really everywhere, and you cannot do much thing without her.
Right.
Without it.
And the fact that the what will be the ruling party for now in southern Sudan is from a former guerrilla. A lot of Western money has been poured for years in southern Sudan. Is there a concern that maybe this will not be as rosy as the West portrays it to be? That the money is maybe spent on big cars rather than agricultural projects?
I've seen many beautiful big cars more than agricultural projects, so I think that's really a concern. And I hope I didn't see the end of it, because there's a lot of promises, there's a lot of hope. It could be a rich country. There's a lot of energy, there's a lot of young people, and they're really enthusiastic about building their nations, but it's going to be really difficult.
Right. I mean, one issue is, local gunmen, or big men, as they're sometimes called. The next picture shows exactly how there could be a problem because, men with gun want power.
Men with gun want power, or they want their cuts of this. So this man is Robert Guang, who was a former rebel who now agreed to ceasefire. So for the moment, it's all okay for him. He won't say anything bad about SPLM or SPLA. But I think if he doesn't get what he wants, he will go back to the bush and start another war.
Is this already happening with some of...
Yeah, with different groups, with David Yario or Georgia Tor. Those guys are hidden in the bush with their own army, from hundreds of people to thousands. We don't really know, because all of them have guns in the village. So it's really hard, and it's a hard war on the field. So the SPLA cannot control everything. So yeah, it's going to be difficult for them.
I mean, are the people there counting on the West to continue to support them, or do they fear that once they become independent on July 9th, the world's attention will go somewhere else, and that all the fragilities and all the dangers will not be dealt with properly?
I think, yeah, they're really afraid of that. That once after the 9th of July, they will be left on their own. And probably it's something really basic, but during the rainy season for the whole summer, probably nothing's going to happen because it's so difficult to move. But I think in September or October, we'll start to see, I hope not, but a lot of uprising or rebellions starting all over the place. I hope I'm wrong, but this might happen.
Okay, we'll have to see how the situation unfolds in southern Sudan, which will become the world's newest country, as we said. Thank you very much, Benjamin Loyseau, for coming on the France 24 interview. Thank you all for watching it. Stay tuned here on France 24.